Esprit CAD CAM Lathe tutorial. Okay, so in this video, we're going to write a program for this part right here. This is a hot-end heat sink for a 3D printer. So I'm starting off with a Esprit document. This is a fresh install of Esprit, so I have no template, no tools set up yet. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import this 3D model as a step file. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Open. I'm going to open the model. Step file. I like step files better. I think they're more usable. Okay, so I can run the part like this, or I could actually flip it over and run the other side. To be honest, it probably doesn't matter which side I do first. I have special chuck jaws that can allow me to hold down on these heatsink fins with no problem. So I really wouldn't worry about that. There's so many of them, you're not really going to squash them unless you really grip the chuck jaws down really tight. So you can run these in any orientation you want, really. But just to go over the orientate part tool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit. And I'm going to go to Orientate Part. I'm going to go ahead and open this toolbar up. Here's my toolbar right here. And I'm going to turn Highlight on and Sub Elements, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select on this face, right here in the back. And I'm going to hit X. And what it did is it flipped it over. I'm going to hit F7 to put it in top view. So now my model looks like this. If you want to follow along this tutorial, I'll leave a link to the actual blueprint and the 3D model. This is what the blueprint looks like right here. If you want to take a screenshot of it, or just go to the description in this video, and I'll have a download link for the dimensions and everything. But anyways, so here's my model. I'm going to hit F7, put it in top view. I don't really need this orientate part toolbar anymore, so I'm going to close that out. And I'm going to type in F11 to open my layer window. And I'm going to go ahead and create some layers. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to make a layer. I'm going to name it Solid. I'm going to make a layer. I'm going to name it Geometry. Make a layer called Chains. And I'm going to make a layer called Toolpaths. Okay, so Solid. So I already imported this model in. So right now, by default, it's on my default layer. So I want to move this to my solid layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the model, right click, go to copy, and I'm going to go to attribute here. And I'm going to move it to the layer called solid. And I'm going to click anywhere to deselect the model. And I'm going to test it to verify that it actually moved. So I'm going to uncheck this solid layer and it disappears. So I verified that it's on the right layer. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and go to chains, all right? So one of the cool things on Esprit is they have a feature finder tool. So I'm gonna go to View, Toolbars, down here, Accessories, and Feature Accessories. Okay, so you got different stuff on here. You got Gap Check, Clone Freeform, Mirror Freeform. The one we're looking at is the Turning Features. So I'm gonna click here on Turning Features, and I'm gonna create Part Profile Geometry on my top layer, and everything looks good. So I'm gonna hit Apply. And what you'll see is it updates the stock, and it wants me to, if you look to the bottom left of your screen, this is your prompt box. It's prompting me to select the turning part and turning part profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my model. I have highlight on, so I want to click the whole solid model, not an element. So I'm going to left click for yes. And what it's going to do, let's close this out. It's going to generate a series of different features. All right, so a lot of these I really don't need. This is just for the sake of showing you. If there's any features here you don't want, what you can do is just click on it and hit delete. Like this whole G55 set, I'm going to delete that. The only thing I'm really going to keep right now, let's see, I'll keep the face, the OD, the left groove. The left groove, that's this right here. We'll keep that. We'll keep that. And all of these, I'm going to hold shift down, select all of those. We'll just delete those. I don't need those right now. ID, so uncheck that. Okay, so the ID is that. I really don't need that because we're gonna drill that out. Cutoff, yeah, we can use cutoff. Drilling, yeah, we'll go ahead and keep that. So I have face, OD, groove, and everything looks good. So that's one way to do it. So now I can actually assign toolpaths off of each one of these features. Okay. Now another thing I can do, I'm going to go ahead and hide this layer. So that's one option. What I really like to do, depending on the model and what I'm using it for, what I really like to do is actually like to make geometry based off my model. So what I'm going to do is I have my model here. I'm going to highlight my geometry layer. That's because I'm going to extract geometry off of the solid, and I want my geometry layer active so it assigns all of that geometry to the geometry layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to Features, and I'm going to go over to right here, Turning Profile. All right, so I really like to have geometry anytime I'm doing any kind of work off a solid. Well, it just depends. It gives you, I think it gives you more control over your toolpath. But anyways, so I'm gonna do, let's do the full geometry. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click in this little pink peach spot, and I'm gonna click the model. And notice how it's trying to click that face. I don't want to click the face. I want to click the whole model. So I'm going to right click for no. Now SL, so solid model. I'm going to left click for yes because I want to select the solid. And you'll see right here it populated the part CAD body 1. And I'm going to hit OK. Alright, so I'm going to click anywhere, deselect the model. And if I hide my solid, I now have some geometry right here. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay, so I have some chains, and I also have some geometry here. There's a reason why I did that, and there's more than one way to do this. Okay, when you start writing programs in CAD CAM, it's more just preference. Everyone gets a certain little style of what they want to do.
Is this Santi's?
Yeah. What the fuck? Where'd you find that at?
In a pile of our clothes.
Oh my god. Would you think that was mine for a sec? You know it's not mine.
Santi doesn't have a beard.
Oh jeez. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off with the face. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to select the face. I'm I'm going to verify the arrow is going in the right direction. Looks good. And I'm going to go up to Solidturn, and you'll notice it opens up another toolbar right here. And I have different options. I have roughing, balanced roughing. That's if you have 2 turrets. I have contouring, continuous B-axis, grooving, drilling, which you also do tapping on that. Then I got threading and cutoff, and you got some other stuff. But anyways, so the main toolpath you're probably going to use in the lathe is like roughing and like contouring and grooving and cutoff. So I'm gonna click on roughing. And I'm gonna name this face. I don't have any tools in here. This is a fresh install of Esprit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go down to my bottom here, my screen, just to the left, and I have tools. And I'm gonna start creating tools. All right, so I could create milling tools, which is drill, tap, other milling tools. I'm gonna select turning tools, turning. Let's see, didn't like that. Esprit tool manager. What? Turning tools, turning insert. Esprit tool manager. Okay. I don't know what's up with that. Hold on, let's close this out. There's a little problem. Let's try to make a tool first. So I'm gonna go to tools, turning insert. Okay, this is a fresh install. I just downloaded Esprit, and I got some other stuff open, Fusion 360, and I'm recording my screenshot here. So for some reason, didn't want to do that. But anyways, so pretty much what you want to do is you go down to your tools, and you can usually do this with the toolpath dialog window open. For some reason, it didn't do it. It's probably either because I'm recording this video on my computer and too many resources, or we'll say user error. Esprit works pretty good. So, anyways, so to create a tool, go over here to tools, go to turning insert, and I'm going to name this, and let's make it a 80-degree face and OD tool. We'll leave it tool 1. I'm going to mount it to my turret. We'll say station 1. Tool orientation, we'll have it on this 3V. Let's see. Let's make it a 1-inch shank, screw, right-handed. Let's leave all this default. Let's go over here to the insert. So it's going to be an 80-degree tolerance M. We'll say it's a CNMG. IC diameter 1/2 inch, thickness 0.1875, and tool nose radius we'll say 15 thousandths. So I'm gonna hit OK. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this face chain, and you can see how it highlights right here. And oh yeah, one thing. Let's go ahead and make sure our chains layer is selected. I'm sorry, let's make sure our toolpaths layer is selected, because we're about to make a toolpath and we want it to be assigned to the toolpath layer. So left face, I'm gonna go over here to roughing. Let's try this again. I'm gonna name this face. I'm gonna select that tool I just created. Speeds and feeds. Let's go 950. Actually, let's make this 950. Feed rate, let's go 12 thousandths per revolution. Reference timer, we'll leave that at an inch. Strategy, type of work, I'm going to put it on face. Make sure you get this right here, your type of work. If you don't get that right, you're going to have problems. Finish pass, yes. Start extension. Okay, so the chain starts here, but my stock's up here, okay? So if you look down here in the bottom right, basically it gives you some kind of position on the X and Y coordinates where you are. So if I go up right here to the end of my chain, I'm at Y.3. But if I go up here, I'm at Y.5. Now this is in 100 thousandths increments, so it's only so accurate, but basically it's 200 thousandths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my start extension 0.25. Also, if I come down to the end of the chain, it's at 0.1. Let's make my end extension 0.15. Entry mode, let's do, I'm going to do Z even. Actually, let's do X and Z. And exit mode, let's do Z Vin X, okay. My Z, let's make it 0.1. My X, let's go 0.55. This is a radius value. You can also click on this mouse and just click where you want it to go. Go 0.1, 0.55. Undercutting mode, yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm gonna go roughing. Type of stock, I always put this on automation. Just as a rule of thumb, just for the way I use Esprit, I always put my stock type on automation, and I always put my strategy. Make sure you get this type of work right. If you don't, you won't get a toolpath. Okay, so stock allowance, how much are we going to save for a finish pass? Let's say we'll save 10,000. Maximum depth of cut, we'll go 60 thousandths. And finish pass, let's see. CSS, 950, feet per revolution, let's drop it down to 4 thousandths. And let's hit OK. All right, so I now have a toolpath that looks like this. I can select this face, and I'm going to come over and hit simulate. Okay, so now this is a fresh install of Esprit. So let's look at this. Okay, there's a few problems on here. I'm gonna hit single step. Now the problem I'm having here is the turret is on the stock. My tool's pretty long there. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't fit in the machine. So let's take a look at fixing this first. Okay, so first off, let's fix this tool. That's pretty ridiculous right there. So I'm gonna go to face. Actually, you know what? Let's go over here to my tools. And let's go to the tool geometry. So the shank is 1 inch by 1 inch. Where's this at? Okay, so your C, the length of it. Let's cut that in half. Let's go 5, inch and a half. Ooh, that's a lot. Now, usually what you'll do is you'll just measure your tool. All right. Okay, let's try that. So I'm gonna hit single step. Okay, that's better, but look how far my tool is extended out from the tool block in the turret. That's kind of ridiculous, okay? So let's do this. Let's go ahead and put it back in top view. So what we need to change is this shift here. So you have this tool shift. I'm going to shift it in the X. Let's see. Let's go 3 inches here. See what that looks like. So I'm going to hit single step, zoom out, and I have something that looks like this. I think that'll work. Okay, so next thing, let's put it back in top view. So next thing, notice my turret is parked on the stock, okay? So the reason why it looks like that is basically if I go up here to common machining and go to setup, and what we're going to be looking at is the assembly, okay? So I'm going to go to turret. So we have a home position. Now, usually what you'll do is you'll get all the settings and parameters just the way you want it, where it mirrors the machine as you usually use it, and you'll save that as a template. So every time that you go use the software, you'll just open that template up, and everything's perfect, okay? Now, this is a fresh install, okay? I really wanted to show you basically how to set everything up, okay? Anyways, so I'm going to do my home position. I'm going to go 10 on the X and 10 on the Z. All right, so if I hit OK, if I go back to simulate, hit single step, voila. I'm going to go ahead and hit F7 and put it in top view. So I have something that looks like this. Also, my stock material set is sticking out pretty far there. I can change that too. If I wanted to change that, I go back to setup, and on the general tab here, I have part stick out length, total bar. Basically, I have this machine base here. Let's see. I got this spindle. By default, it's minus 6 inches. If I type in, say I type in 3, for example, and hit OK, what you're going to see, if I hit simulate now, is sticking in the chuck. Okay, so it's not extended out as far. And basically what you're seeing there is the distance from your origin to the end of your chuck. Let's see. Okay, so basically these green lines here represent your spindle, okay? So if I move my origin down, if I move my cursor over to the left and look down, basically in these positions right here, it's showing that I am basically minus 3, okay? And how it's calculating that number is basically I have this part stock length right here. And if you go to the spindle, you got minus 6 inches, and basically it's adding 3 inches there. So that'll give you minus 3 inches. So you got from the origin to the seat of the chuck jaws. And if you look down here, when I move the cursor, it says minus 3. Now that's mostly for simulation purposes. I wouldn't worry about it too much unless you have like a sub spindle and you actually need to get that right. That could be kind of important. But if you're just doing using a 2-axis lathe, not that big of a deal. It's not that critical because all the G-code and math is based off your origin right here. So outside of simulation purposes, not too important. Okay, so these red lines right here, this is my toolpath for the face. Okay, so it generated an OD for me. So there's a couple of things I could do. Really, what I'll probably do is just make my own chain for that. There's more than one way to do this. I could actually utilize the chain they gave me, but I just really want to make my own chain for it. So I'm gonna go here to go chains, and I'm gonna hide that layer, but it's active. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hide this toolpath layer. Is I'm gonna select this segment. I'm gonna hold Control down, select each one of these segments. And I'm going to go up here to my features and Autochain. Okay, so let's rename this OD. And I can always change, I can always edit this work coordinate. Let's see, let me move that up there. I'm actually going to delete that work coordinate. Okay, so I'm going to select my G54. Let's try that again. This time I'm going to drag a window over it. So I'm going to select all of this. And I'm going to go to Autochain. And I'm going to rename this OD. And let's go ahead and bring this layer back. Now, if you look, the chain is going the wrong direction here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse the direction by clicking reverse. And now you'll notice the arrow is pointing to the left. Go ahead and hit save. All right, so let's do this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my OD. I'm going to go up to my toolpath, Solidturn, and I'm going to go to roughing. We'll start off in the general tab. We're going to name this OD. I'm going to use the same tool, strategy. I'm going to make sure I put that on OD. My entry mode and exit mode is almost going to be the same. Besides, my exit mode is going to be, it says ZVinX, I'm going to put it on XVinZ. Undercutting, no. We're not going to do undercutting. I don't want that 80-degree tool to try to get in there and cut that. It's not going to have clearance, and it's not going to do what I want to do, so we're going to put it on no. Roughing, let's see. For the Z, let's save 2 thousandths, and for the X, let's save 10 thousandths for a finish. And I think everything looks good. Oh yeah, on the strategy tab, let's put these back to 0. All right, so I have stuff that looks like this. Looks good. We'll get the rest of this when we flip it over. Go ahead and hit save. All right, so if I look at my print, this groove right here is 72 thousandths wide, and this one is 233. All right. So I'm gonna use a 62.5 thousandths wide part off actually to cut that groove. So what I'm gonna do, I have the, let's see, I have this left groove. You know, I don't really need this OD chain anymore, so I'm gonna delete that. Left groove. Let's rename that. All right, that's my 233 thousandths groove. You know what? Actually, let's do this. And then I have this groove right here. That groove is 72 thousandths wide, so I'm gonna rename that groove 0.072. I'm gonna go ahead and rename this too. I just like these names. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with this big groove. Let's go ahead and create a tool for it. So I'm gonna go to Turning Tools, Groove Insert, and we're gonna name this 0.065 cutoff, because I'm actually gonna use the cutoff blade to actually groove these and then just part it off. Tool number, let's do tool number 2. Let's put it on our turret. Station 2. Actually, yeah, we'll keep it on station 2. Orientation 3V. Okay, so let's get these sizes. We'll say, yeah, 5/8 shank, that's fine. Let's make this, we'll say 1 1/4. We'll try that out. Now, typically what you want to do is you want to actually measure your tool. This distance, all right, let's try that out. We'll say it's a 2,000ths radius. Width, 62.5. Make that 62.5. This distance, I think I already had that 1 inch. We'll see. So, some of these aren't that critical. The critical thing is you get the width of it right, and you get the radius and the orientation, and your tool number too. I'm gonna hit OK. We'll see what this looks like. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my features. I'm gonna highlight this groove, and I'm gonna come up here to grooving. And let's rename this. I'm gonna go ahead and select my new tool. Speeds and feeds. Let's see. Go 450. About 3,000ths per revolution. Strategy, OD. Stock type, automation. Step over. Let's see. Let's go ahead and step over. Let's use 75% the width. Peck it. We're not going too deep. I'm not going to peck it right this time. Finish. Let's see. Finish stock. Let's see. Stock allowance. let's say 2000s and 2000s. Feeds and speeds, 450, good 3000s per revolution. And let's try that, see what it looks like. Now, one thing, I screwed up. I had my change layer selected, right? So if I actually wanted to move this toolpath right here, I can just click on it, right click, go to copy, change the attribute, move it to toolpaths, and hit OK. So now if I hide my toolpaths, oh, I got some other toolpaths here too. I'm gonna select this. We'll go ahead and select this, and hold up. Oh, we're good. All right, cool. Just hit save. Let's go ahead and simulate this. So I'm gonna click here to top where it says features, because I want to simulate the face, then the grooving. I'm gonna go simulate. I'm gonna put it on a single step. I want to zoom out and check my tools, make sure everything looks good. What I'm looking for, I have this groove tool. It's kind of extended out some. I'm really not too worried about it, but if I wanted to fix that, what I could do is go back to my tools, go to the cutoff, and let's see, right here on the wrench icon, this tool shift right here, I can move it up. Let's try 2 inches. Let's see what that looks like. Put a single step, and whoa, that looks good. There's still some stuff I would change. One thing I would really change is I would move these tools over where they extend out from the turret some. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Just for clearance issues. So let's go ahead and do both of them. So I'm gonna go to the wrench, and let's move these over. The best way to really do this is if you hit single step, and if I hold my cursor right here, see how it shows me like on my position. Basically that's 12.8, and I come over right here, I got 12. So I got like 0.8 pretty much. I can move it.
Bruce, what are you doing, man? Oh, man.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna come over here and let's move this over minus 0.8. All right, so let's go ahead and go to simulate. Let's hit F7, put it in top view. Cool. Now my other turret tool right here. If I hover my cursor right here, I'm at 12.3, and if I hover right here, it's 11.9. So basically 0.4. So I can just go to cutoff, change the Z. Let's go back minus 0.4. In the tool shift settings, it's going to be your typical machine Cartesian coordinates. Okay. Now, when you're going off your X and Y and Z right here, that's off your work area. That's off the Esprit coordinates. Okay. So basically, left and right is X, and Y is up and down. So even though we're doing a lathe part, you're working off X and Y coordinate system similar to the mill. So just be aware of that. All right, so if I hit a single step, what I could do is I could rotate, and it looks a lot better. I could move it a little bit more. I go to my cutoff. Let's go minus 0.5. Oops. And looks something like that. I'm going to hit F7. And let's simulate this from the beginning. So let's run that again. I'm going to move my simulation speed down a little bit. And let's just single step it. So it comes in, it faces, cuts the OD. Everything looks good. Cool. Okay, so next step is we're going to cut this groove out right here. So I'm going to click on the 72 thousandths wide groove. And I'm going to go over here to roughing and go to grooving. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now, one thing that I'll have to change on here is first I'll change the name. But the percentage of the width of the cutter I'm going to use. So the groove that I'm cutting is 0.072 wide. And the groove tool width I'm using is 0.0625. Oops, did that backwards. So the groove tool I'm grooving with is 62.5 wide, right? And the groove is 72 thousandths wide. So I'm going to divide that by 0.072. So I have to use at least 87% of the width of the cutter here. Let's just put this on 90 and be done with it. Let's go ahead and hit OK. You'll see something looks like this. A lot of people, when they first start using Esprit, they ask, they see the red lines here. They ask, well, why didn't it cut here? Well, it actually did. Remember, all the math is based off the front corner of your tooltip. If I simulate it, it's going to look something like this. All right, looks good. All right, so I'm actually going to do these grooves in a different operation. I actually have a different technique of doing this. I don't really feel like explaining it in the video because that would take a while. But anyways, so let's say drill. Okay, so we get this hole drill here. And the hole is 157 thousandths diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the drill. And I'm going to go over here to Solidturn. I'm going to select drilling. I'm going to go to tool. I don't have a tool for that yet, but what I can do is I can come over here and grab my milling tools. I'm going to go to inch. Let's see, tool ID. Let's put it on drill. we're going to use this 0.1562 drill. RPM, let's go 1200, and my feed rate, let's go 3000. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about, usually I would center drill. I'm really not too worried about center drill. I have a couple other operations I do on this just to ensure like the perfect dimensions and tolerances. But anyways, I don't feel like going in depth and explaining what I do, what my process is and why. But I will say we're just going to use a short drill and we're just going to drill it back. Let's see, we'll go back about 1 1/4. So I'm going to go drilling, drills type. Let's do a peck. First peck increment. Let's go 1/4 inch. And let's change this to 0.2. Total depth, let's go 1.25. Starting depth, yeah, 0. Tip included. And let's see. Let's put it on no. Actually, you know what? Let's put down yes. Okay, everything looks good. Say okay. Okay, so notice this. My stock like totally disappeared. All right. All right. So let's check this out. I already know what's going on here, but let's hit save. Really, what you want to do is you want to simulate this. All right. So hold up. Before I get too far into simulation, look at my drill orientation. There's some problems with this. The drill is in the same turret station as my OD tool, plus the orientation is way off, okay? This happens when you use a tool from the actual milling tools, okay? It puts it in the wrong orientation, all right? So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go into your tool list, open up that tool, so close that out. And what you want to do is you want to change the orientation. So axis of orientation, it's going to be Z plus. Station, let's make it station 4. Let's see what else we want to change here. Tool number 4. The total cutting length, let's say it's 1. 1 1/4. And tool length, we'll just say it's 2 inches. I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so if I hit F7, put it in top view, you'll now notice my stock isn't all jacked up right now. It's actually looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and simulate this. I'm gonna click on my G54 here. I'm gonna hit play. Zoom out a little bit so you can see this. All right. Let's see. Looks pretty good. If I wanted to, I could move that this tool more into the tool block. It really doesn't matter. The math is based off the origin, okay? So unless you're doing like sub spindle stuff, and you kind of work with a sub spindle or a second turret, I really wouldn't worry too much about you know, how far the stock's sticking out, and you know, your tools and everything, because all the math is based off your origin right here. All right, so it's more just to verify it looks good. So I'm gonna be honest, like when I write lathe programs for just a 2-axis lathe, I get a little lazy. I don't even really simulate it most of the time. But also I'll write programs all the time, so I'm kind of used to what usually goes wrong, and you know, pretty much the overall process. Okay, so part off. So let's look at this. All right, so I don't have much room here. Let's see, if I look at my position, if I have my cursor right here, I'm at 1.9, and it goes at 2 inches. So I have like 100,000. I don't have much clearance, but let's see if we can do it. So I'm gonna select my cutoff. I'm gonna go over to Solidturn. Let's go to cutoff. I'm going to name my operation in the general tab. I'm going to select my cutoff. Let's see, let's go 350 CSS, 3000s. Everything looks good. Rough pass, yes. Finish pass, no. Type of stock, let's put on automation. Pack increment, yeah, let's try it. Try it at 200,000s. Everything looks good. Maximum RPM, let's slow that down to 1,000. I'm gonna hit OK. And I got pretty close to the chuck right here, but I think overall we're good. Let's take a look at this. Let's simulate it. Wow, that was close. I have some conflict here. Let's check that out again. So I'm gonna select the cutoff. Let's single step it. So it comes in. Look how close we are to the chuck jaws. We got some clearance, so we're good. Maybe a little bit closer than I'm comfortable. So one thing, when the tool, let's check that out again. So when the tool comes over here, it's peck in, and then it goes across. It goes so fast. Let's try that again. Peck, and I'm gonna slow this down really slow. You still can't see it. One thing you probably want to do, you want the tool to go up into X for clearance, and then go over into Z. Okay. So what I would do, just to avoid, you'd probably be all right, but just to avoid any kind of collision, definitely don't want to break off your cutoff blade. Your exit mode here, I would go X then Z. Okay, let's make that 0.6 and 0.1. All right, so let's go ahead and simulate that again. This comes in, cut, and this time you notice it doesn't have any problems. Let's simulate the whole operation. We're close there, but we got clearance. And voila. There goes our part. Alright, so next step would be to do the second operation. We'll continue this in the next video. But anyways, I hope you like this video. This is the Esprit CAD CAM Lathe tutorial part 1.